Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Can I ask you to sit down, please? We can start. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and welcome to our second sneak preview. That means that we are approaching another call. I would like to say that we are approaching the second call. Actually, this will be the third call for the ATM investment environment. But as you may be aware for sure, but it's always good to repeat it, is the first call, the 2014, we were not born yet. We jumped on managing the call at the last minute. Despite this, we were successful, but actually today we are approaching the third call that is for us really the second, with the deployment program released, with some experience already passed through, and with some lessons to be learned altogether. Looking to the audience, I can share with you the numbers of the registrations we received, 180. That means that the industry and all the environment on the ATM investors is really strongly committed, and we will see some figures showing this practically, concretely. And having 180 registrations by all categories of investors, I would like to highlight what kind of investors we have today, hoping not to forget someone. So we're having NSPs, airports, users, military, med service provider, we have the network manager, we have air control, and we have the communication service providers. All these are committed to invest in a traffic management technology out of SESAR. This high interest into the call for tender, it's also coming from the fact that if we think, as you know, I'm a former CEO of a navigation service provider. I used to invest myself in the ATM. If you already remember how was the situation 20 months ago, ATM was very rarely co-funded for investment in technology. And now we passed to a situation that from zero, almost zero, we passed to something like close 900 million euros of co-funding already, given for granted that we are going, since we are going to sign the grant agreement with INEA for the 2015 call. So we passed by zero to close 900 million of co-funding, translated into investment. We are close to 2 billion euros of investment in a traffic management, stick to the pilot common project regulation. This is a great result. From my point of view, it means that the ATM industry in general, as a whole, showed and demonstrated the maturity, showed and demonstrated that the political arena is aware of the strategic role of aviation, and into the aviation, the role of air traffic management, which is crucial for the future, for today and for the future. The fact that you are 180 registered participants to this sneak preview also show that the industry and all the ATM stakeholders are really buying the process and the governance of the deployment of the pilot common project. So recognizing into the SESAR deployment managers the common factor through which you are able to invest, and also, of course, through which we are able to achieve some good results. I would like to show you very shortly before going into the detail of the presentation by my team. We are actually today here to present the sneak preview of the future call, the 2016, that's going to happen in the near future. So we need to start from a very important point of references, which is the deployment program 2016. Let me we are in an investment environment. Let me invest some time talking about the deployment program. It's very important to say that this release of the deployment program, so the 2016, it was the very first fully, completely, and deeply consulted with all the stakeholders. The 2015, we were rushing. You remember at the very beginning, if some of you participated to our first event, opening event, in which we were declaring that the consultation for the 2015 deployment program has to be very short, being stick to the timing of the Commission for the call 2015. The 2016 deployment program has two types of advantages. First, the 2015 deployment program. We were not starting from scratch. We had some experience. We had already a very good plan, but we had all the time since the consultation started actually in January. And we just concluded, and 2 days ago, we released the deployment program fully, 100% consulted and agreed and supported by all the investors, all type of stakeholders, being investors but also external stakeholders. Anyone dealing with the deployment of SESAR has been looking to the deployment program, and we release 3 days in advance, Nicola, correct me if I'm wrong, from what is being expected by the Commission, the deployment program 2016, that you already know, because all of you are, through some colleagues of yours, present into our stakeholder consultation platform. So it's very important to say that we are starting from a very strong basis as the DP, as the Deployment Program 2016, really represent the founding stone of the future call and calls for the future and the completions of the pilot common project, full implementation of technology. And why not? Looking a little bit far in the future, we shall continue to invest in the new common projects coming out of the joint undertaking jobs. This means also that the deployment program represents actually our reference, our point of reference for the call 2016. We are together, we have together developed the deployment program, and we are now together approaching the phase in which you, the investors, have to present project for the call 2016. The deployment program took us busy for the last 9 months, actually. And now it's time to turn to the next step, that is exactly to prepare the call 2016, which is the reasons why you are here today with us, just having the first flavor of what's going to happen for the next future, next days, on administrative burden, on technical issues, and not going into the detail of the deployment program itself. I won't go into the detail of the DP and all the processes that we are going to follow. My team will. I would like, before entering into the detail of the 2016 deployment program and call, I would like to look a little bit in the past, which is the call 2014 and 2015. What happened, actually, which are the numbers and figures that we have to take into account, look into the future. 2014 call, as I already said, we were not born at the time in which the Commission launched the tender, but it was anyhow the first tender, opening tender, taking into the possibility of giving funding or co-funding for the ATM investment related to the pilot common project regulation. For the 2014 call, at the end of the entire process, we had 84 implementation projects by 45 different implementing partners. An amount of investment of about 620 million euros, 13 implementation projects completed already, I believe 14 implementing projects completed, and about 15 more to be completed by the end of this year. So, in a nutshell, on the 2014 call, after only less than 2 years, we have already, by the end of this year, so in 2 months, something like 30 implementing projects completed. We are not talking about future. We are talking something that is really concretely present, which some of them are already releasing the operational objectives for which they have been invested. Look into the call 2015, which is under finalizations for the co-funding issues, for the grant agreement signatures with INEA, but we can talk because we should be, and Paula will go more into this kind of detail, but we should be, let me use should, not to be misinterpreted, we said, because since we are not signing, I'm not signing the grant agreement, we are always in the field of should, otherwise my legal team will shoot me if I say we are. So we should be, and plus then, no, we will have on top of the NT4 project of 2014 call, we will have 139 different implementation projects by 52 implementing partners, out of which 21 are new compared for the call 2014. That means that in total, we have this kind of figures. About 1.3 billion euros of total investment for the call 2015, and SGA into the final preparation stage that should be finalized by the end of next month. In total, between the call 14 and 15, what we passed through, what we achieved is a co-funding of close to 830 million euros, 830 million euros, that translated in investments in contracts. We are talking about 1.9, roughly 2 billion euros of investment, already ready to be signed at the end. And the family of the SESAR partner for the implementation and deployment of the Pilot Common project rose to 68. So in less than 2 years, we were able to put together 68 different investors from ATN environment, close to 2 billion euros of investment, and 86 different investors into 68 different investors into the family. I believe this is the starting point to look to the past. Everything is improvable. Everything, there is always room to improve. We will deal with the results out of the 2015 call, but I believe what is important, if we remember that we started from zero as co-funding for ATM, having these figures should be of satisfaction for all of us. Satisfaction doesn't mean that we are a fool, that we are happy 100%. If we look what happened in the call 2015, for example, we were able to feed the pipeline, as we suggested to investors, with numbers of good projects. Some of them were not selected because the limit of the budget is there, because probably we were not able to really provide the evaluator with the correct perspective to look at the project, probably because the process is not fully mature, because all of us, we are learning in something that never happened before. ATM is brand new into the evaluation process of both the DG Move and INEA. All these things together could have represented some difficulties in the complete satisfactory evaluation, despite the fact that some of the projects shall be out anyhow, because if we had 600 million of capacity, if we had 2 billion euros of proposed, of course, something should be out. But we need to improve, working together with DG Move and INEA to really see which are the full completions of the Pilot Common project implementation. And the deployment program shall and actually represents this guideline through which both DG Move and INEA should be followed to really select the correct project that we need. Europe needs to be consistent with the Pilot Common project regulations. But now, let me recall, this is what happened to the past. We need to look, the past for us is present, because we are going to send the grant agreement these days. The projects are running, we are monitoring the project for the 14 and 15, and to look to the future, we need to look what is happening today. But for the future, that's the main reasons why we are here today. Let me recall first that the call 2016 has never been for granted. I believe this is another important achievement. 12 months ago, we received formal information that for 16 and 17 should not be no call. We were not sure that the call 2016 should happen or could happen. I'm fully convinced, and I can tell you by heart, because I'm close now to this kind of process, that the fact that you were able to feed the pipeline with 2 billion euros of investment, showing the strong commitment of the industries, all the stakeholders in ATM, to invest, to have the Pilot Common project fully implemented in time, show the Commission and convince the Commission to go ahead with launching other tenders. And we need to keep continuing on this philosophy. And we were able to receive a call in the 2016, and I can tell you, nothing is official, but I'm quite sure we will have the call 2017. We will use, and if we are good enough, burn the availability of funds into this CF period, which in the end we started, you remember, for the famous 3 billion euros. We learn on our skins that probably we are talking about actually 1.5, but let's see, that's another story. But we should continue to keep on presenting and proposing projects because we need to continue to show the commitment of ATM industry to convince the Commission to raise the level of awareness of the political arena that investment in ATM are crucial for the strategic visions and objectives of Europe. So 2016 call was not absolutely for granted only 8 months ago. The fact that we were able to achieve this result for me is it's reasons of satisfaction, personal one, but also as SESAR deployment manager, but also as part of the industry and the industrial environment which you represent and all the stakeholders dealing with the deployment of technology for air traffic management. Before closing and giving the floor to Nicolas, few remarks on what is going to happen. We should expect the call to be launched by mid of October and the closing by end of January, mid of February. I would like to thank, I don't know where she is, but we have also the NSA representative here into the room. So I believe that we will try to strive and to drive the Commission to ask to have the end date by mid-February, giving all the time to the state, to the ministries to approve and endorse the proposals that we are going to present to the Commission. But anyhow, that should be more or less, nothing is official. We are probably premature. That's why this is a sneak preview, it's not the launch event. We will have 2 calls, one for the general, which will be 300 million euros for general environment, in which ATM has specific priorities. Paola will go into the detail of this. And we will have a cohesion fund call of about 100 million euros. I would like to dedicate a few words on this one. Unfortunately, we recognize a low level of commitment of the states of cohesion funds on proposing investment for ATM. For the last call, 2015, we had something like 300 million euros available for the cohesion funds. Actually, we have only 100 million applied, more or less. So for the investors coming from cohesion funds, it's for you to go, if it is the case, to convince your ministries that aviation is strategic, that ATM is strategic for your country. So it's for you to convince your ministry to dedicate some priorities, some eyes on the ATM investors, and to take the advantages to have 85% of co-funding available for the cohesion fund. This will be probably the last one for this CF period for cohesion funds. So take it or leave it, more or less. It's sort of last call for the cohesion fund members. So take care of that. This is still, again, not official, but my feeling is this will be the last time in this CF period in which cohesion fund will be available for ATM. So it's up to you to really go committing and convincing your ministry to go presenting some priorities for ATM investment. This is in a nutshell what I wanted to say. I'm very positive of the outcome. We are very satisfied at the DM, the way in which we are managing all this complex environment. But I believe that the full consensus that we receive for the deployment program 2016 and the good achievement we are having concretely in the implementation project that we are monitoring for the call 2014 that we are going to present for the call 2015 is giving us the positive outcomes and the positive perspective to look ahead with trust. We need to, as I told you before, to keep continuing the good momentum in which the Commission is really seeing and looking finally good results out of our investment. The performance side of these investments will be the next challenge for us. New cooperation with the PRB is going to come with the Commission. I believe that this is a really good process that we implemented. It's up to you to really continue on this road. Thanks also to the support for the driving that the deployment manager team is providing to you. And in this perspective, I would like to give the floor to Nicola Varisco to continue to present you with the agenda of the meeting of today to drive you through the work of today. Thank you very much.